All right, man. Shawn Porter weighs in on Earl Spence versus Earl Spence versus Dennis Ugas. Big unification that's coming up, and he says that Earl has more power than Ugas, but he could lose. So let's talk about to take out Shawn Porter's podcast. Porter Way, and he got the Porter clips. The funny thing about the clip version, man, if I get some time to edit clips when I go live, the clip version is a lot better. They do a lot better subs than the actual long string version. And you want to know why that is? Why I choose to do videos over doing long clips is because people attention spans are very short. No matter how engaging the video is, the video has to be elite engaging and bring drama for people to really stick around for an hour, 2, 3 hours. I watch some of the stuff I watch it in clips. Then your time's taken up, kids and wife want to listen to something in the you know, up time listen to the radio. So a lot of the people that listen to my type of channel, they kind of listen to when they at work. My man's who came on, he was at work the other day, he was talking boxing. So also want to make sure uh y'all brothers, remember, man, drunk drivers out here, no matter how young or how safe or how many years you've been driving, all right, remember, man, these drunk drivers, man, they, a lot of these people, have parents they lost and they go through things during the holiday, they lonely, and they turn to the bottle. They turn, or they get depressed and forget to take their drugs the right way and take extra to deal with the pain. Okay, always remember, being drive safe. Somebody call on somebody who lost their parents or might be away from their family or dealt with some deaths through the years, no matter 20, 30 years ago. Make sure we always check up on those people. Check on your homeboy. Everything ain't a joke. You gotta make sure he good too. Men, we don't have an outlet, especially well, we men in general, we don't like to talk to the doctors and all that. We think that shit is weak. It helps. Remember that. I gotta get that message out here today. It helps. You know what I'm saying? It helps to talk to somebody. I talked to somebody a few times throughout my life, and it does help. I feel comfortable talking to another male because he can relate what I've been to, but I'm pretty sure females do feel comfortable talking to another woman. So make sure y'all guys, make sure you check on people. If you got to get help, you want to talk to somebody, my line is always open as long as I'm available. You know what I'm saying? So, always reach out. If you to the point where you're going through something, man, just hit me up on Twitter or Facebook. Keep blowing me up. If you got my number, hit me up. I've been there, I've done that. All right. If I ain't been there, done it, I know somebody that been there and done that. Okay. Point you in the right direction. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable with hotlines or you feel like you can't talk to them, I got you. Remember that. Yeah, Mason and Miles opened up their gifts today too. So because we chose to do, you gotta watch the NBA video I just dropped. We chose to do we chose to do our stuff today because we had a couple of family members who thought they had to work and then they reneged on their time, but we still went through it today. Had the pictures of Mason and Miles open up their gifts too. So yeah. So that's why we did our Christmas today. Okay. But yeah, we had a couple of family members that, they had to work it, then they took away their double and triple time, so they just available. Okay. So yeah, man. But yeah, man, so I want to get that message out here today, man. It's tough times, but so Shawn Porter actually be in the ring with both, and is his assessment the end all be all of them? No, it's not the end all be all of them, okay? Because styles make fights. Some guys you can hit with full power, some guys you can't. Shawn Porter is an elusive target, and him and Spence is totally different. They're totally different as far as targets to hit. So when you fight somebody like Shawn Porter, it's hard to gauge, how somebody truly hit, because Shawn is an elusive target. Okay, Shawn is an elusive target, so it's a different type of ball game fight Shawn. So really, you take Shawn opinion, you can take Shawn opinion figure sometimes a little bit different because he's a different type of fighter. You don't get the full fledged, you don't get the full fledged, assessment fight Shawn. You assessing fighters fight Shawn, you be calling them trash. Shawn gave everybody fits. He even gave Crawford fits. Even though Crawford, people feel like Crawford could have turned it on whenever he felt like it, but he gave him props. His right hand was something that he really ain't showcased. That showed that Shawn had multiple things in his arsenal. That right hand that he was countering Bud with, it didn't hurt, but it scored cleanly. But it wasn't meant to hurt Terrence Crawford. because it was meant to hurt Terrence Crawford, he would have loaded up on it or he would have looped it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said before, you can take his assessment for a grain of salt. You'll be better off, assessing everybody else versus each other and Errol Spence and Ugas. That's a better assessment. Shawn is a style that you probably never gonna see again. Okay, so says the Shawn Porter said the IBWC champ, welterweight champion Errol the True Spence has a slight power advantage over WBA or Dennis Ugas. Spence and Ugas will be meeting the three-belt unification in the first quarter of 2022 on pay-per-view. They're assuming, but they are right. I guess that it will be pay-per-view. The fight winner will likely try to negotiate a match against WBA Terrence Crawford. So Porter picked Spence over Ugas. So he says, I think Earl wins, and I'm curious now, said Shawn Porter picked Spence to beat Ugas on the Porter Way podcast. And they got the clips. The clips do better numbers, like I explained. At one point in time, I knew exactly what Dennis Ugas was going to do. I could tell you what was going to happen. But he said, quote, he really did. I thought he not only grew in the moment in the fight with Pacquiao August 2021, but I think he learned some things about himself and a lot like experience when I was talking about Canelo when he first started talking about how he'll be prepared to come in the ring and do whatever he has to do, whatever style he got to use. I think Dennis Ugas is at the point where he's preparing to make any adjustment he has to make to beat whoever across him. And I'm actually convinced that he may find a way to beat Errol Spence Jr., said Porter, quote. So I think like it's a fight that Errol wins, but more than anything, I want to see what Dennis Ugas does. Another interesting thing too is I don't know where Dennis Ugas is coming. What Dennis Ugas coming to the ring? I don't know what Errol Spence is coming. Errol Spence Jr. is coming to the ring. Crazy, Porter said. Okay, but like just talking about that portion for a minute. He right. You don't know what type of condition Spence coming in. But last time we had all these crazy rumors, and a lot of us fed into it. But when you fly out the window, of course you gotta consider it. But he came out good. But then after that fight versus Danny Garcia, he got injured. So most people say he's starting to fall apart. So but and the thing he talking about Ugas, I think I can articulate it a little better for y'all. What he's saying about Ugas is simply right. What he's saying about Ugas is simply that his confidence has boosted. His confidence is boosted. You know what I'm saying? His confidence has boosted, man. It has boosted after that win with Pacquiao. You see what I'm saying? So you know how some of these dudes they get these fights, these big fights. Especially when you take them when you're not audio prime. It's kind of like when Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston. He got the role and he understood the game. He understood how to beat people. You know what I'm saying? So he understood how to beat people. It's just like when you get over that hump and you like, man, I know what I got to do. He's more sharper. He's more prepared. And the thing about those Cubans, other than like Gamboa and a few of them, because everybody think Cubans just all fight the same, but historically, somebody taught me that there were exciting Cubans that fought in a different style, but historically they fight that way because they've been entrenched in the amateur so long. When you've been an amateur so long, there's certain habits that you can't break. Amir Khan, Lomachenko got a few, but when you have 400 or 500 amateur fights, that's too much. Because you still have to relearn how to be a pro. We talked to Timothy Bradley. He said Joel Diaz was the one that took it from an amateur to a pro and showed him how to really perfect the pro style. It's a blatant difference than going 3 or 4 rounds and then going 6, then or 4, 6 as a pro, 8, 10, 12, and back in the day, 15. It's totally different. A lot of amateur systems, they don't score body punches. Yeah, standing 8 counts without you getting knocked down. And it's all about scoring, sloppy punches. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. So then you got to go into the pros and be more polished because you can't fight at that rate. You can't fight like that at any rate. You might get away for the first 2 or 3 rounds, but you have to learn how to be a professional. You got to be able to learn how to use your athleticism, your speed and power and burst. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 different sports. I'll say it's 2 different sports. Totally 2 different sports in my opinion. And a lot of people say you crazy. 2 different sports, bro. How they scored. That's why they got the AIBA, whatever it's called, out of there. That's why the boxing got took off the Olympic bill. I should have talked about that. And got took off the Olympics because all the corruption. Because they want to score a certain type of way, and you can't score that way. All right, but let's continue on. But the thing about it is see if can Ugas do something different. Because historically, guys who fight like him and Lara, they don't do nothing different unless you force them to do something different. Like Alfredo Angulo forced Lara to be a beast. He forced Lar to put a hemo toe. He forced Lar to be aggressive. If you don't force the Cubans to do something, not even if you tell the niggas, if you could tell them the scores, only way you're gonna force them to do something. The majority of them that we know now, if they know the scorecard and they down, or somebody fight, somebody really opening up that door. That's how you know somebody really bringing something to the kitchen that's hot and they can't take. Then them niggas are going to beast mode. They will go into beast mode. Okay, they will go into beast mode. So you kind of got to remember that they will go into beast mode, bro. If you force them to go into beast mode, they will. They will. They will do what they got to do. It's like a certain dog breed. You know, they say, well, this dog is usually a gentle breed, but hey, if you mess with them, if you make them mad, they can whoop de whoop. They give a disclaimer. And that's how them Cubans is. The Cubans that we know that's programmed to be real amateur style. You have to you really gotta bring the fofo and kick in their dough. They really, you know what I'm saying? They really like that, bro. They really about that. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy thing about it, bro, is that they can turn into the style that people like. This generation, right? They can turn into that, but you gotta really force them niggas to be that, bro. They programmed to be one way, but you really got to bring that shit to their door. You really gotta come in and bring that shit to them. But like I said, today's boxers don't bring that beast out of them. Okay, them do these boxers today. They throw one or two shots. Back in the day, niggas throwing 4, 5, 6 shots. Even the guys like Tex Cobb and shit. Shit that people don't remember. Them type of guys fought. Fought a different style. They fought a different type. They was able to do something. I'm gonna say different style, but it was just something that was just something that was ingrained in some of these fighters. Everybody threw combinations. You rarely see people back in the day pick one or two shots. You know what I'm saying? You barely see people just pick 1, 2, 3 shot, man. Them niggas back in the day was doing 5, 6, even if they was getting off the canvas for the 10th time. Okay, said Porter Ray Spence power as being a little better than Ugas, but here's the thing. Ugas loads up on his shots, his powers improve and makes him more dangerous. But he said, quote, he said, I would say Errol got more power, said Porter rating power superior to Ugas. One of them put me down. I would say both of them put you down. Not technically. I would say Errol has more power. I think Ugas, at least when he fought, strengthened up. He Ugas fights more with more power and more strength. Said Porter about Ugas doing an excellent job of loading up on his shots to get the maximum amount of energy in his power. He said, "Cool. I think he's got that about him. Errol power is a little bit more natural, where he doesn't have to force it, but he just got natural power in both hands." Really, said Porter, rating Spence power over Ugas. It's like, so that's what he said. So he said Spence is just a natural puncher. He just don't have to load up. And Ugas, he can load up and he can hit hard. So he said Ugas does an excellent job of loading up on his shots to get. So he could probably do a great job of mixing his shots in. You know what I'm saying? But we already knew that. We knew Ugas was probably a stronger fighter at this point. We knew the punching power went too far because Errol is constantly losing energy. You know, so that's something that you definitely got to look at too. But Ugas, of course, that's a lost art, mixing in the strength, mixing in your punches. That's definitely a lost art. That's definitely a lost art, mixing in your punches, and you can load up. That's why loading up is in boxing. You can load up on your shots. Y'all feel me? If it wasn't a thing, it wouldn't have been created. You can load up on your shots. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can load up on them, but you just got to know how to do it. When you mix your shots up and change the speed of your shots, that's kind of what we kind of saying. It's not so much like fast and slow punches per se, but it's more about like touching you and then mixing those touching shots in with medium shots and hard shots, winding up when you supposed to. You definitely can it's definitely a thing. You just gotta know some guys can wind up and bring an overhand right from Nebraska all the way to New York City and hurt you. That's one of them shots that you see it in street fights. When dudes when they throw wild and looping shots, you know what I'm saying? When they throw wide looping shots and they hurt you. That's definitely a thing. That's that shot that overhand shot that you throw, that's a hard shot to get away from. You know, you really got to keep your hands up in 10 chuck or 10 chuck unless you in 10 your chin tucked, or you got to know how to get the hell out the way and move. That wild shot is a shot. That wild shot is a shot that can that wild shot is a shot that really can that really can get you. You know what I'm saying? It's a shot that really can get you, bro. So it's a shot that you got to look out for, man. Hands up. A lot of guys, when they get caught with that, they can get caught with that shot in the beginning of the fight. You know what I'm saying? They can literally get caught with that shot from the square one of the fight. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you can get caught with that shot out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, technique trumps all. You know, that's what it is. Technique trumps all. Always remember that. Your technique trumps it all. You know, when your technique is good, man, that's the thing about anything. Anybody with technique gonna make it in sports with enough athleticism. But like I said about the power, I'm not surprised. I think that's something that we already knew. But like I said, it's harder to judge versus Shawn Porter because Shawn Porter is a moving target. Spence is gonna be right there to be hit versus Ugas. You know, but Spence is strong. If Spence don't come in this if Spence ain't healthy, Ugas still presents a way. Ugas still presents a way for him to beat him. He do. Ugas still presents a way to defeat him because Ugas doesn't close that gap. You know, he doesn't go. If he kind of feel like he in the fight or beating you, he go the same speed. Y'all see what I'm saying? He goes the same speed. You know, if he's a blender, you know, if he's a blender, you know, he's a 1-speed blender. You know, maybe he can go up to that second and third speed, but we ain't seen it. That's the thing about him. Ugas is like a blender with 1 speed. You know, he can't go to 2, 3, 4 in speed power. That's just not him. That's just not him. But like I said, something we already knew. But then again, in boxing, man, it's just not about a lot of these guys, man. It's just not about your power. Outside like a New You Way and Better BF and Deontay Wilder, name a few. Sometimes it's how you set it up, and the way you set up a shot, usually the shot that a fighter don't see coming, that's the one that actually hurt him. So that's why you see some guys where you be like, man, no way he can knock him out. He knocked him out because they get angles at you. That's how Pacquiao beat a lot of these dudes. Pacquiao beat these dudes with angles. They couldn't see. They couldn't. He was overwhelming them, but he was using angles, and people really couldn't make the adjustment in fight. That's why Floyd waited so long to fight him. He was a southpaw. With Pacquiao, you have to take the angle away from him. You can't be in the middle. You know what I'm saying? You either got if you're in the middle, you gotta be like Floyd. You gotta be Juan Marquez. You gotta be a good counterpuncher. But you use the ring on Pacquiao and force Pacquiao to cut off the ring, and then you pick him apart that way. Or you close the gap and you get in his chest and erase his angles. That's how you fight him. But a lot of these dudes, they able to go in and out, turn you and hit you with shots you don't see coming. But yeah, I agree with Ugas. Earl's probably the better. He don't force his shots. Earl's shots just pop, 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 pop. If you see how he hit the bag, he fights like he hit the pads. I mean, it's natural. He just let it go. He don't seem like he wind up on shots. He let the knockout come from him. Ugas the type of guy that touch you. He knows when to put stake on his shots. It's just that he only won 2 guys. He was a 3, 4, 5 guy. it'll be dangerous, man. But hey, let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay, that's the best way to donate. Along with hitting this next subscribe button, the bell icon button, hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. All my information in the description. You can reach me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request, we want to, just support me on social media. Twitter's the fast way than Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to make a financial donation on the channel. I do appreciate that. Cash App, CJ Good 313. Venmo, CJ Good 313 is at the bottom of the screen. Rolling. It's in the description along with the PayPal link. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. Check the box news welterweight playlist. Peace.